Hey everyone, it's Dr. Sunita Punjabi, your brain coach. So, Valentine's Day is coming up. I don't know where you are in the world, but this is a time where if you're not with someone, you might feel kind of sad. You might be reminiscing, whatever you're feeling during Valentine's Day. If you're alone, this is a great time to realize that you can't give love unless you experience love. If you're not full of love, you really can't give it to someone else. So during Valentine's Day, the greatest love is to start with yourself, especially if you're alone this Valentine's. Now, how do you love? And a lot of people think about self care, especially during these uncertain times. A lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, you should be doing self care. I have to admit, I'm one of those people that well, I'll get to it when I get to it. I've got so much I've got to do. But the truth is, if I don't do something for myself, I won't experience self worth. And self worth has to come before self love. So when we take the time out of our schedule to do something for just us, it's kind of like making ourselves important, but we're not waiting for the outside world to do it. We're doing it. So when I schedule myself for a massage, I've decided I am worth it. And so self-care can be a massage, but if you don't have self-worth, you won't do the things that are self-care. So don't think about self-care as just some indulgence. It's really about allowing yourself to be healthy. Because when you have self-care, you have self-worth. And when you have self-worth, you can actually love yourself. And when you can love yourself, you can give love at a larger extent than you can now. So this is hard for me to talk about because I feel like a hypocrite. I will never tell anyone to do something that I don't do. And the truth is, I struggle with this very much. I grew up in an environment where I didn't know my self-worth. So taking care of myself or loving myself is not something that's really easy for me. Someone would tell me, just relax and have a good time. I really didn't know what that looked like. I couldn't even imagine it. I know that sounds crazy, but if you don't know what it looks like to relax and slow down, if you don't know what it's like to love yourself, do a self-care activity, raise your self-worth, and you'll begin to experience the love that you want to have for others. First, you've got to have it for yourself. So this is just a practical way, a real action item that you can do today on Valentine's Day or whatever day you're watching this. Even if it's not Valentine's Day anymore, do something for yourself. Give yourself an indulgence. And it doesn't even have to be a lot of money. I love to eat out. And there was a time where I couldn't afford to eat out. I loved eating out though, because I felt so special. I felt cared for. I felt catered. So I couldn't afford to go eat out. So what I did is I went to Starbucks. Now, I'm not endorsing Starbucks. I'm just saying it was a little indulgence for me that instead of a $30 or $40 meal, it was a cup of coffee at a coffee house. And years ago, Starbucks was just the place to go. And maybe it is for still some of you. But I just felt so special because I never paid $4 or $3 for a cup of coffee. But it was definitely an indulgence for me, and it was less expensive than eating a meal out. What can you do to indulge yourself? What can you do to let yourself know that you're worth it? So, this is our little trick for Valentine's Day. Love yourself and find a way to experience that love by doing an action, taking an indulgence, maybe $3, right? Like a cup of coffee, or maybe it really is your favorite meal. Go out, enjoy yourself. And if you go by yourself, sit next to some people, make a friend. Just let them know it's Valentine's Day and I'm celebrating myself. What are y'all doing here? You could have a conversation like that. And some of you may not. I understand. Dr. Punjabi's weird. She can have strange conversations with strangers. Yes, I can. But there was a time that wasn't easy for me. So it was an indulgence that I took advantage of and said, you know what? I'm kind of cool. I'll have fun with it. I'll never see them again anyway. So on one Valentine's Day, this is a true story, I actually went to dinner and made a friend. I made a friend first with the waitress, and then I made a friend with someone else that was sitting across the table, an older couple. They were just so cute. It was Valentine's Day, and they were probably in their 70s. And I was sitting alone. So I just went up to them and said, wow, how long have you two been together? And it was crazy because they actually had only been together 6 years. Now, if they're in their late 70s, that means that they met in their late 60s. So how cool is that? That they got married in their late 60s and they're having an amazing relationship. It just really showed me that love is never too late. And even though that Valentine's Day I was by myself, it doesn't mean that every Valentine's Day I will be. It means that for some reason, I'm just not there yet. For some reason, God just isn't done with me yet. And when I'm complete, it'll be time. And when I can love myself, really, and then find that other person because I'm full with love. So, one last thing to note, and we may even need to make another video on this. Remember, during Valentine's Day, if you're really alone, if you feel alone, actually, because being alone doesn't mean that you feel alone. A lot of people may be alone on Valentine's Day, but they don't feel alone. So if you are alone and you feel alone, remember, find a way to not feel alone. Go somewhere with a friend. Change your vibrational frequency, and you will attract not being alone. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you understand that like energy attracts like energy, if you feel alone, if you feel isolated, if you feel unwanted, change that frequency. Go experience something to reverse that feeling. Because when you can reverse that feeling, when you're vibrating at a frequency, you'll attract that frequency. When you're vibrating alone, you're going to attract more things that validate that you're alone. When you vibrate at the frequency of I'm enough, I'm not alone, I'm good enough, I'm fine, I have more than enough friends, I have more than enough company. When you feel that, you will actually attract more of that. Quick little tricks actually for Valentine's Day. Change your frequency, have a fun time. This is your brain coach signing out.